The chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Dunn, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to recognize an extraordinary man. He's from Bay County, Florida, and I am fortunate to have him as a dear friend of mine, Mr. Grover Davis. Grover was born into a fishing family in December of 1941 in Parker, Florida, and he learned the value of hard work at a young age. He built fishing boats with his father and his brothers, leading his family to own the first charter fishing boats in Panama City. When his father died, Grover dropped out of high school and worked with his brothers to support the family. They made a living in the charter fishing business with young Grover below the deck, keeping the boats running. He still keeps the boats running 70 years later. He learned a lot about life at a young age. He met his wonderful wife, Judy, at Bay High School and married her in 1961. By the 70s, the Davis family was managing the St. Andrews Marina, and Grover became interested in a new business venture. In '74, he began Marine Transport Services, which provided transport service for oil and gas companies in the Gulf of Mexico. Marine Transport Services has truly become a family affair, with his wife Judy and his daughters Kim and Carrie joining him at the helm. Grover treats all of his employees like family. In fact, 50% of his employees started at Marine Transport right out of high school and still work there to this day. He's unfailingly supportive of all of his employees. When they make a mistake, he doesn't let them go. He's famous for sitting with them and saying, "Did you learn something from this?" His favorite phrase is, quote, "There's only two kinds of captain, those who have run aground and those who are about to run aground." Grover truly leads by example in all aspects of his life, and he has spent much of his life giving back to the community. He's a big supporter of Camo Dreams, a nonprofit that helps disabled children go on hunting trips, and routinely supported events for the Girl Scouts when his daughters were growing up. Grover, his wife Judy, and his daughters have long since cemented their place in the firmament of stars that are the foundation of our community back home. He has always preached that honor is the most important value among people, and no one person is better than another. He never asked anyone to do what he would not do himself. Judy and Grover have 2 children, Kim and Carrie, 2 grandsons, and 2 great-grandsons. They all describe him as an amazing friend, father, and leader in our community. He is the single most social man I know, a great storyteller. He always surrounded himself with his friends, and if he stood still for more than a few minutes, it was certain that he was frying grouper or mullet for a host of people. He loves people, and they love him. I have to say, Grover is also widely known as a huge and very inventive practical joker. He's been known to go to elaborate lengths to prank his friends. He's also an amazing historian, especially knowledgeable about the minutiae of World War II. All of his friends, and I count myself lucky to be among those, revere our time that we spend with him. He's always entertaining, educational, and exceptional. One of his daughters recently said to me, "Daddy is so social, and he knows so many people that he could cause a traffic jam in Calhoun County." That's a lot of personality. I spoke with him on the phone last week after he received his diagnosis of a rapidly progressing terminal illness. After sharing his terminal diagnosis with me, he lightheartedly promised that come what may, he would vote for me by absentee ballot next year. Mr. Speaker, as the curtain draws closed on the life of my friend, I ask that we cast our attention on a man who lived an extraordinary life, a man who changed my community for the better, a man who cared for and supported many, many friends and family, a man who is quite literally larger than life. Mr. Speaker, please join me in recognizing my friend who made me a better person, made my community a better place, Mr. Grover Davis. Grover, we're praying for you, my friend, and for your family. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.